It's not actually.
Oh, hello. Maybe that's kind of straight. Yep. Okay.
Straight.
You wouldn't understand. Let's see. Has this come up on here? And welcome to anyone that's joining us.
Has this come up? Good question.
Let's turn the sound off.
You know, Colin. Hasn't turned up for me yet. I didn't want to either. Yep, it's live.
Yeah. People are here.
Hello.
People trickling in. I'm just going to grab a little link so that I can share. Yeah, that's all working. And then whilst we're doing this, we will of course have some 20 questions. I've got a card.
You got a card, okay.
I probably should have chosen a nice easy one because Alec's not here this week.
Alec's not here and I'm bad.
Seb's gonna have to guess it, so chat's gonna win as ever.
Chat always wins anyway.
But Seb, you can try. You might need chat to help.
Yeah, chat. I'm bad, so just help. First of all, monster.
No, not a monster card.
Oh no, we've already lost. Is it a trap card?
It's a trap card.
Okay. Is it a normal trap card?
It's a normal trap card.
Okay. So we know so far that it's a normal trap card and nothing else.
Yep, 3 questions in. This is pretty standard progress.
Yep. Has it ever been on the FNL list?
It has never been on the FNL list.
Okay, it's never been on the FNL list, so we can rule out a lot of the kind of old good ones, Compulse, Ring, etc. Is it part of an archetype in name or text?
Yes.
Yes, it is an archetype trap card. Printed post Xyz.
Yes, printed post Xyz.
Okay, printed post Xyz.
So 5 questions in?
Yes. 5 questions in, we know it's an archetype normal trap card that is that was first printed post Xyz.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of the chat's questions. Does it? No, that's a very specific question early on. We're gonna taper our questions here. Has it ever been in a YCS topping deck list?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
6 questions. You have that it's a normal trap post Xyz that has topped a YCS.
Has topped a YCS. Can I chain Ash Blossom to this trap card?
You cannot chain Ash Blossom to this trap card.
Okay. So, doesn't special summon from deck. It doesn't special summon. What good trap cards? I do think Brigandine is a reasonable choice, but I think there are... Does it have an effect that special summons?
It does have an effect that special summons.
So, Brigandine's still an option. Not the worst one. Has definitely topped and indeed won. At least one YCS. What else can we rule out? Huh. So it doesn't special summon from deck, we know that.
Correct.
It could special summon from Banish or Grave. Special summon from Grave probably more relevant because it rules out all the Paleos. So does it... here's one. Can I chain Ghost Bell to the activation card?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so you can chain Ghost Bell. Probably should have made that clearer as to whether I meant an effect of the card or the activation itself of the card, but for now we'll say that was... You can chain it to an effect of the card. So yeah, it could be a paleo, in which case it could be most of the paleos. It can't be Fogblade because it's a normal trap card. It could be the other Phantom Knights trap card, the one that boosts by 500. Asking if a trap card has a level, probably not going to help us. Although, yeah. One thing that might help us is the card that is special summoned the trap card itself?
Yes.
Okay, so probably a paleo here. Um, is well, is it a Paleozoic?
Yes.
Okay. Does it? At this point, I may as well just guess individual Paleozoics because I can't really narrow it down without just. Yeah, is it Dynamiscus?
It's Dynamiscus.
Okay, it's like it's gonna be the first one I'm gonna pick, but like, can at least think about.
I thought you'd be really bad today, but no, that's probably the quickest you've ever got one in like every 20 questions we've ever done.
Well, it's because there's no one else to think for me, so I actually have to think.
Hello and welcome to everyone that's joined us. Sorry that we missed out on coming on live last week. I was away, Alec was busy working, and Seb got stage fright, so we waited until this week.
No one wanted to watch me do an hour and a half stream by myself with no forewarning.
So I was actually away at a regional. I was on holiday. I went off to Frankfurt, and there was a regional there. So I played in that one. I mean, obviously, it wasn't like just coincidentally there was a regional. Like it was part of the plan. Like we were going away and went to Frankfurt on a weekend when they had their regional there. I played Orcust and started off real strong. I won my first 6 rounds and then lost the last 3 to end up 25th or something. It was a bit frustrating. I felt like I could have done a little bit better, but it was still a really fun event. Really cool to get to a 9-round event outside of a YCS. So it was
always fun.
It was
German regionals.
Yeah, nice to go along to. And then this weekend we both. Without Alec, because
Alec abandoned us for managed.
Alec's always busy now. He'll be back for a regional this weekend, but he was away playing Magic. I think he was at a vintage tournament. Legacy tournament. I don't know the Magic formats that well. He got top 4 at a Legacy tournament. Congrats to Alec. And we both went down to a regional in Exeter and both got top 8 there, which was pretty neat. I was playing Orcust and you were playing
Orcust, yeah.
Not
a lot of exciting.
The list that I took to that event was possibly the least thought through list I've ever done. It was a good list, but I didn't do any other thinking. It was a direct copy of the winning list from YCS Lima. Now, I quite liked it. So this was a list that all 3 players from the first place team at YCS Lima had. One of their players chose to drop the second copy of DD Crow in favor of an upstart Goblin. But aside from that, they're all playing the exact same list. So I thought, you know what? If it works for them, 3 of them, it's probably not variants at that point. So tried it out, and it was a real solid list. I think coming away from the event, I possibly wouldn't have played DD Crows for a regional. I found myself siding them out a lot because there was so much rogue stuff going on. That's not to say that I don't think DD Crow has a good purpose in that deck, but just that, particularly in the UK, the meta that we seem to have here is so diverse right now that you can't play something like Crow when there's just so much rogue in the room. Looking back at the event, I think I would have possibly done better if instead of Crows, I'd been playing Skullmeister. Now, it's a little bit less impactful in the matchups where Crow's really good, but it still has a good effect for the most part, and it just gets a bit of value in game 1 against all of the things where you'd naturally side out the Crows. So against True Draco, you can negate their spells and traps in the graveyard. Against Thunder Dragons, particularly the non-combo builds of the Thunder Dragons, you can really struggle to get Crow value. But with the Skullmeister, you can like negate the Dragon Dark when they link it away to prevent them getting to that Thunder Dragon fusion. So yeah, aside from that, really happy with the list, but perhaps a little change. Need to consider what meta I'm building for. How was the list that you played?
So I played a very similar list to the one Alec brought to YCS London, where he started 7-0 and then ended up 7-4. And I actually really like the list. I don't think I'd change anything. I'm not quite sure about the side deck because it was just 5-3-ofs because I didn't really have a lot of time to put anything together for the event. But the list is quite good. It's just their kind of standard Orcust list with 6 dangers and very minimal interactions. So you got like 3 Ash, 3 Cosmic, and then everything else is just kind of good Orcust with some danger. I quite like the dangers because they allow you to make some pushes before committing to Orcust cards. So you can make things like Phoenix. The number of times I Thousand Eyes, Link Kuriboh, made Phoenix, and drew a card was silly, which was quite fun. Yeah, I did lose to main deck Necro Valley in the last round of Swiss, which was very frustrating, despite that. But I had Cosmic for his first 2 floodgates, but not the double crackdown and not the follow-up Necro Valley.
Was this Subterra?
This was Subterra. Yeah. This was Subterra, Open Extravagance, both games. Yeah. Did not go well.
So that was Luke Tyler, right?
Yeah. That was
so he won the previous regional that we'd been to in Bournemouth.
In Bournemouth, yeah.
And yeah, still playing the Subterra deck that he had on from before, and picked up a top 4 finish, I think.
Yes.
I think he might have been.
Yeah,
third,
but my tiebreakers were very, very good that regional, which was helpful because I did sneak in 8th on tiebreakers.
Yeah, I actually found myself sort of missing the dangers. I'd played them for some previous events, ended up cutting them, and I really found myself in a lot of situations this time wishing that I had more ways to discard. Possibly if I'd been main decking the Twin Twisters, I could have got away without them, but certainly just going with the deck list that I ran, there were a few times where I would make my normal summon, find an infinite impermanence, and just sit there and pass. In that regard, Mathematician's certainly far better than Scrap Recycler, because passing on a Math Man is giving you a full hand to start your next turn. But yeah, I don't know whether there was perhaps more hand traps at a regional than you'd see in a YCS format, but for me it felt like there were definitely too many hands that were a bit too liable to interaction.
Yeah, that's kind of like why I like the dangers, because they kind of allow you in those hands where you didn't quite, like your normal summon didn't work, they allow you to keep playing because you just need to hit one of your Orcust, and a lot of times you draw like hands with multiple Orcust and multiple danger, and then you just get to start on those. There was once where I did have to hit a 50-50 on whether my Jackalope hit itself or the Orcust card in my hand, and I hit it, so I'm sure that made my opponent very sad, but that can also happen if you want to high roll your dangers. So
that's bringing back sad memories of my round 9 from Frankfurt. I had a hand of Nessie and Orcust Nightmare with an OTK lined up if I can discard the Nightmare. Activate the Nessie, discard the Nessie, search Tsushinoko, activate Tsushinoko, discard Tsushinoko, and scoop. It was, a little bit of bad luck just to end the tournament on, but that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes you do get those bad luck moments, and you just gotta roll with it. Like, it's what we sign up for by playing a card game.
Yeah. And of course, sometimes you get the good luck moments as well, so just remember that.
Master Diamond here went to Newcastle Regionals and went 5-2 with Gem Knights. Just missed out on top cut. Unlucky, man. But like, I hope you've got some more events coming up soon, and you can try and run it back. I assume Gem Knights is still just FTK at this point. I haven't seen them doing anything else.
I mean, they might be able to OTK instead, but yeah.
I guess if you lose the die roll, you've got a little backup strategy there.
Yeah.
And then we've got some more regionals coming up soon.
Yes.
You're judging this one.
I am judging this one. I'm judging
How did that come
Froome
about?
Regional. Basically, the head judge of the event, Matt Winkle, messaged me like a week and a half ago and said, "Hey Seb, do you want to judge Froome Regional? I think this is just like I need a judge." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, it's close enough. Don't mind getting there a bit early because it's an easy drive." And yeah, I guess I'm judging because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit bored of the format, just a little bit. Just not because I don't think it's a good format. I think it's a great format. I think if this had been the first Orcust format, I would have loved it. But now we're in the like nth Orcust format, and I just don't want to play Orcust. But Orcust is just so good. Even though I've not even touched Orcust since Düsseldorf much. But yeah, I'm judging. And
have you judged before?
I judged Nats.
Okay.
Yeah, I judged Nats this year, so I have some experience judging, and I enjoy it. It's a different take on things. But yeah.
So we mentioned a bit, but sort of glossed over. We did, of course, have a regional, not this weekend just passed, but the one before. We had the 3v3 YCS in Lima, Peru.
Okay. That's true.
Won by the team playing the Orcust deck that I was playing. That was Hani, Christian Urina, and
hang on, I got it. Arnold.
Yeah, that was the guy.
Milan, yeah.
Christian and Hani, I know both of whom have got a great number of tops. Arnold, I'm not so familiar with, but from what I hear, they were absolutely running so hot all day, both days, with very few games lost between the entire team. So congrats to them. Do we know anything about the format? What was showing up well, and what did people play a lot of?
I haven't seen deck breakdowns at all. I can tell you some of the other lists that I've seen in Top Cut. Mostly Orcust lists more than anything else, which I think is kind of what we might expect.
Yeah, I think that's what we're expecting. Like, Orcust is making itself known as the most popular deck. It may or may not be the best deck right now, but it's definitely the most played.
Yeah. In its various forms, some pure with more hand traps, some with dangers.
Okay.
Ramiro Garcia, who we know from winning 2 YCSs in a row, back in his top 4 finish this time as part of his team with another Lunalight Orcust list.
Really strong form. Congratulations.
Yeah, we've got some Salad
from Paulo
Gonzalez, and Galileo Del Valle was on True Draco.
Yeah, I saw that list actually. He chose not to play the True Draco Return, which at first seemed like a bit of an interesting decision, but the more I thought about it, it just doesn't do as much as the Apocalypse. If you're getting a trap card, most of the time you don't want that return. So
yeah, no, Apocalypse is way better.
It seemed a little odd at first, but then I know there was another talking point about the list. He was playing 41 cards with Upstart Goblin. Now, we've seen that before in Sky Striker. Yeah. But what do you make of it in True Draco? Why do you think that was?
So, I think part of it is Upstart Goblin actually makes Demise slightly better, where you get to start in your hand, you see both Upstart and Demise, you set Upstart, you draw your 3, and then you draw another card.
Yeah.
So it maximizes Demise chances. Beyond that, I don't really have much of an explanation for it. It also makes your desires rolls slightly better, but that's very marginal.
So it can improve your desires. Another relevant point is that, particularly in a deck like this, you want some space to be able to bring in side deck cards.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Now, Upstart Goblin, in games 1 and 2, kind of doesn't matter. Like, if you draw it, giving your opponent 1,000 life points is pretty irrelevant, because any game of True Draco isn't going to be won or lost based on whether you can get that last bit of damage in. They tend to be very much control-based. The games that it wins, it snowballs real hard, either locked down under a floodgate or just getting so much value off the True Draco monsters. So having that extra card in means that you have more space for games 2 and 3 to bring in those side deck cards without having to lose anything that's actually really important in the main deck. So it's a controversial choice, but I think there's definitely something to be said for it.
Yeah. Like the maths, yeah, just like you got the main deck reasons of the maths on your desires and your demise, and then yeah, you got the side deck reasons of just you have more space to side stuff in. The other deck that we saw a reasonable chunk of is actually Combo Thunder. I've got Andres Torres list here.
I think Combo Thunder is a deck that we only really see being played heavily by the very top players. So it's quite well represented in the top cut here, but it's not something that I've been coming across regionals, particularly not around the UK.
Like I have yet to see this deck in action. I don't know what it does. I know it plays dragons and it plays thunders and it plays malicious and stuff now as well.
Was this a list with Draconet or just using loads of dangers to special summon as much as possible?
Dangers, just lots of dangers. It looks quite similar to the kind of list we were seeing with the kind of Euros format, WCQ format, but
without the Crusade.
Yeah, without the Crusadia, with like not Sekka's Light, with Ravine, because they go into the Dragonian Link as part of their combo. They've got Malicious as well, which kind of is a new addition. And the most important new addition is Cypher Dragon out of the new set. So
Starliege Seyfert?
Seyfert, that one, which whatever it's called.
Cypher Dragon's a rank 8.
Okay, sure. The new level 4 that searches white and black.
It only searches the black dragon, I think.
One of the two.
It has an effect where you can tribute dragons from your hand and field to search your deck for a dark dragon whose levels exactly equal the total level of the monsters tributed. And then when it's in your graveyard, you can banish it to add a level 8 light or dark dragon from your graveyard to your hand. So you get some extra value recurring your Levianeers, and also an easy way to find access to that first Collapse Serpent whilst putting a light into your grave, guaranteeing that you can summon it. We saw a similar deck from Herman Hansen at YCS London. He was playing a combo Thunder deck. Again, one of the best players around, particularly here in Europe, choosing to go with that really high ceiling deck. I think if it's one that you have the time to put a lot of effort into and really learn the ins and outs of, it can get some fantastic results, but it's not something that you can just roll up to an event and expect to be absolutely maxing out every decision on.
It's got a lot of decision trees all the time, and it's not a linear combo in the slightest. So,
particularly when you start adding in things like danger monsters, where you get chance effects, and you need to be choosing the right moments to activate them to optimize your chances of getting the best discards and not drawing things that you want to stay in deck. I did see an interesting list of Combo Thunder. I can't remember where it was from, but it was from some event somewhere where someone was playing Sekka's Light. They were also playing a copy of Dragon Ravine and the World Chalice Guard Dragon. World Legacy Dragon, the Guard Dragon, the continuous spell. So for a total of 5 spells in deck, but the other 2 being continuous and field spells don't end up in the graveyard. So the deck's reckoning to play a pretty quick game, only lasting for 1 or 2 turns. So you can reasonably reckon to be able to resolve those spells and then play a Sekka's Light afterwards, just to keep having more and more gas. And if you don't have an opening play, then is that?
Jesse Cotton's list. Yes, so I actually have it here. Sorry, got a lot of lists. So Jesse Cotton's team, which was Aaron Furman, Jesse Cotton, and Isala. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his surname.
Very strong team. Memele.
Very strong team, obviously. 3 very, very big names there. Yeah, they were playing the list that Tom was discussing. 5 spell cards, the Dragon Ravine and the World Legacy Guard Dragon, and 3 Sekka's Light.
So I really like seeing lists like this, because it's a lot of time people that are less experienced in the game will read a card like Sekka's Light and say, okay, if I'm playing this, I can't play other spells. But that's not what the card says. That's just what people read it and assume to be true. So you really need to take a step back and properly evaluate cards like that. If you're only going to be playing for 1 or 2 turns, maybe it's not correct, and maybe we'll start seeing even more decks that play a small number of spell cards, particularly searchable ones.
Yeah.
And even more so if the spells are both searchable and don't end up in the graveyard after they've been played. You can get away with playing Sackers Light alongside that to have what is one of the best draw spells in the entire game and not take the full downside that you might have thought you had to take just to be able to play it.
The reality is, like, World Legacy Guard Dragon, because they were playing Draco Net for the full IB combo.
Yes.
But if you don't start on that, then it doesn't matter if you activate your Sekka's Light and then can't activate it later, because you were never getting it to the first place if you didn't activate the Sekka's Light. You can still make IB, you can still search the card, and then you just have to get rid of your IB another way. So it's not like you can't still make use of the cards.
And even just having extra cards in hand allows you to have more things for when you activate your dangers, less likely to discard themselves, get new draws. Yeah, it's something that I quite like seeing. I know that for a while I wanted to try out in Burning Abyss. I had a list that was playing Sackers Light and one Brilliant Fusion for real similar reasons. Much less effective now that you can't send snow with your Brilliant Fusion, but it's still something that's out there. I'd love to see it work, but maybe we'll see. We've got some decks that we've lined up to put some games on for you guys. If you want to ask any questions in the chat, we will be looking at that as we're playing along. We've got either some constructed decks. I brought the winning list, the Orcust deck that I played for the regional. Seb left his deck boxes at home, so he's got Alex's pendulum deck, and we can play some constructed with that, which I think is what we'll kick off with. But if any of you guys would like to see it, we've also got the Squirrel Highlander format. We've included in some previous videos, so we can do some of that as well. Let's get this camera set up on the table.
Scoot around here.
Whoop. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Where's my deck?
Where is your deck? Good
There
question. Right. So yeah.
Seb, are you any good at Pendulum?
I don't know yet. I have played Pendulum once or twice in my life. Like Pendulum decks. Period. Once or twice in my life. I played Pendulum FTK at Bochum, the Bochum where that was legal. I'm really upset because I think I could have done a lot better with that deck. I ended up bubbling at X3, but that was a very sad event because first of all my list was missing a couple of very important cards, or there were a couple of choices I made that I just kind of didn't consider because I got there kind of late-ish on the Friday and registered list and didn't think about it. And then I will go first.
Okay.
And then I made some really bad misplays in round 8, in round 6, which I think could have been better. All right, let's see what this list does. So this is normally a good place to start. Mastery.
I think I just dashed that.
Probably. Then we'll Shrine.
Anchors, yes, we will both be at the Frim Regional. I'll be playing, Alec will be playing, and Seb is there as a judge.
Yes. So I don't actually know what new format Pendulum does either, because I haven't really thought about new format Pendulum. I'm sure it does things, but I don't know what those things are. So we're gonna go on an adventure together, and it will be fun, I'm sure. Probably correct to so Electromite, good card, would play. Effect. Ooh. sad times. So we've already been ashed, so this doesn't feel that bad. Gonna add harmonizing and purple poison when I find it.
Do you have the other high scale?
Yes.
Okay, that makes the play real strong.
In fact, my other high scale is this, which makes it slightly better. Because now we get to do this. Activate harmonizing effect.
Yep.
Which will get me a
David
Black Fang.
Garcia asks, when will we see the new BA list from Thomas?
Come on, Tom, give the people what they want.
I'm just enjoying playing Orcust at the moment. Like, I still like the idea of BA. I just don't think it's very good right now. Maybe at some point I will get on that hype, but right now it doesn't seem good. I think at any point it's one ban list away from being very good, but right now we are very much a ban list away from it being playable.
It's a shame.
And
Even I like BA. I had my
yeah.
time on BA once upon a time too, so.
I always go through and think about, okay, what could work well as a BA list right now? And
I've realized the flaw with this list.
there's interesting stuff to play, but right now there's nothing that really works better than just playing Orcust cards instead of BA cards.
So we put this list together very, very quickly because, as I said, I forgot my deck. I think I've realized the flaw with it.
What have you forgotten?
This should be a level 7 of any description.
Okay.
Because then I get to do my absolute plays.
You're not
right.
even playing Absolute, are you?
No, but but I cut it because I was like, I don't have a way of until level 7, but I do.
Okay.
Given
that it's not.
Given that it's not, we'll make the best we can out of this, but I don't actually know how to make it good.
Is it correct to link away the triple burst there?
So, here's the issue. If you make seal here, then sure. You can make seal, and then
Appaloosa over here.
Yeah, sure.
Don't link away the seal.
Well, seal doesn't do anything in main monster zone.
Oh.
It can only activate its effect if it's an extra monster zone.
Oh, yikes.
So you get your 2 material Appaloosa, and then you get your either Dweller or So Savage is good.
I'm cracking this.
Yeah. So I think Dweller is actually better than Boral Savage in most cases.
Okay.
Just because, like, there's a very high chance your opponent's just on Orcust.
I'd argue that there's more of a reason to go for Savage when you're sat behind an Appaloosa.
Well, we'll go ahead and take the Savage then. It doesn't really matter. You're making one or the other. And as I said, I don't really know what Pendulum does. As I said, this list has hastily been put together.
Joe McMahon asks, what do you guys think of Musket this format? They seem to have more representation since Joshua Ooster's got the bubble finish from YCS London. Have you played against Magical Musket?
I have played against it online, and it suffers from the same problems it always did, in that it loses when its first normal summon gets got rid of, and Orcust has a lot of ways to do that these days. And it basically has to choose second because of the text on its link. So it literally is just, yeah, it can suffer against a lot of those.
I'm going to go with Harp. And attack.
That was part of the problem.
And pass.
Okay, that's not nearly as problematic. Broken.
Yep, I think that one's going to be a game to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably worth rethinking the pendulum list, but since this is what we have for now, we'll play it. But yeah.
I've played against Magical Musketeers. I think they were my round 3 opponents in Frankfurt. They were okay. Like, I wasn't that impressed by anything that they were doing, but it kind of did stuff. I'm not sure that they have what they need to really compete with the best decks out there right now. I felt like I was in control of most of the game. So they certainly have the means to catch people off guard. And I think my opponent made some misplays as well. So perhaps if he'd been a bit more together and knew what he was doing a little more, it might have gone differently. But it's an interesting one. I'm not suggesting that it's a terrible deck, but it feels like one that's only going to perform very well if you absolutely know what you're doing. So I'm not sure that it's hugely widely accessible. A lot of the people that will be picking it up on the back of seeing it have success elsewhere might not be getting the results that they're hoping for from it.
Like, I don't think it's a bad deck, but I also don't think it is. I don't think it has many advantages over some of the other decks that you could, other decks in the format. I think genuinely it plays a lot like Draco going second in a lot of ways, where you are just kind of, you have some very good things that you can do into an opponent's board to break it, but you have to draw them, and Draco's just better at doing that. Because like you have to draw the right musket cards in your hand in order to stop what your opponent wants to do, and sometimes you just can't. Plus one normal summon.
Normal summon math. Activate effect.
Yes, this is okay.
It resolves, yay!
This is a problem, but yes, it does resolve.
Let's see then. Harp.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare.
Yep. Let's see if it's got some level 7 pendulums lying around. I don't really know.
Nightmare.
Yep.
Send a symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Take a cut. And orchestrated return.
Yes. That's pretty good.
Sure,
that is pretty good. There.
Wand for the nightmare. Galataire on the wand. Get myself Babble, which I will activate.
Yes.
And steady now. Summon Dingiasu. Masquerena. And banish symbol for Galataire.
Uh-huh.
And with that, I will pass it over to you.
So draw for turn.
Yep.
Stand by, main phase.
Okay.
Start on this boy.
Yeah, that's fine.
Effect.
Ash.
Yikes. That's a doozy. Servant.
Scale 2, so you can pendulum summon all of your level 3s.
Yeah, don't you worry.
Mastery. Is okay.
Is okay. We don't have dice, but that
2 counters.
2 counters.
We can count, don't worry.
Can we?
Maybe. Don't undermine me.
Undermine? No, that's different. That's a different deck. Although mine would be really good sometimes. Not that this deck can't play mine.
Master
thinking-
Diamond asks, what are your guys' thoughts of Tenyi if they get any more support? So I haven't seen them doing anything in the meta.
So funny thing. So the other night, I was complaining about how I just find the format quite boring, and Tom was like, "Challenge yourself, build something fresh." So I went on Dueling Book and I just put together like everything, all of the decks, and I mean all of the decks. And Tenyi was one of them, and it doesn't do anything at all going first, like literally nothing, except well, it can put up one Appaloosa, but like there are lots of decks that do that and do more than one Appaloosa. And the issue is that there are also plenty of decks that do a lot more than that.
Okay, so we've reached 3 counters on this
We've reached
servant.
3 counters.
We know that there's a Dragon Ravine in hand now, along with 3 other cards.
3 other cards, yeah.
I feel like I need to do something about that serpent. I can either go with the Nightmare for the Dingirsu and send the servant to the extra deck, or Masquerena into a Nightmare Unicorn to spin it back to the deck. Neither is hugely attractive because whatever I do, Seb's going to end up with the ability to still summon the servant. It'll look real bad if he then activates the other servant and fills it with counters. But I'm not sure.
You should already know I have the serpent.
Yeah, I know that you've searched it.
Yeah. Whether I can put 3 counters on it. But Ravine's a good start.
Yeah, the fact that you didn't search the Oracle of Zephyra, if you've got that as well, then that's 3 spells right there. Let's see.
But yeah, so Tenyi they're not even good at going second either. They like their best play going second ends up being Yazi, and they can't actually send Destrudo with their spell card because Destrudo's not a worm, he's a dragon. Funny that. So yeah, I don't think very highly of Tenyi. They have a lot of cool stuff, but I think they'll only ever be good as like a little splashable engine with the shooter.
I might try something a little bit interesting that might be terrible, but we'll see. It'll be interesting either way. We're going to use the effective Masquerena. Link for Trispina.
Okay.
Trispina.
Okay.
And then we're going to use Nightmare to send and Harp to summon.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nightmare. We'll send Gizmek. And Harp will summon for us. Effective Trispina.
Okay. Everything goes away. So I lose 1,000. Everything's gone. What can we do? We know he still has Gizmek to keep playing, which is kind of annoying. It means he can trigger his kind of annoying. It means he can trigger his Trispina again. So it's really important to think about what we're doing next. I think it's probably just activate Ravine.
That's fine.
Effective Ravine.
Okay.
So we send this.
Yep.
Effect.
Yep.
Adding the
Gate 0.
The
Gate 0.
Gate 0 when I can find it. It is in the deck still. It's not a card you side out. And then we'll just normal summon. Then we'll just normal summon.
Okay. Okay.
And see where we can get to. Electromite. And Electromite effect.
Yep. Yep.
Huh. You're not making this easy. Huh. You're not making this easy. I'm gonna go with Chronograph Sorcerer.
Yeah, that's fine. Fine.
And then I'm gonna activate Gate 0.
Okay, so I know that the other card in your hand is a low. Okay, so I know that the other card in your hand is a low scale.
Yes. Yes.
But you do get one draw off. I think I have to just let it all resolve at this point.
So Electromite target this.
Yep.
Chronograph. So Electromite Chainlink 1. So Electromite Chainlink 1. And the issue is I can summon the Chronograph, but it doesn't really help me. Because I still have to put scales up, and I just can't is the issue. I can get over just the Trisbana, like but I can't set up I can get over just the Trisbana, like but I can't set up scales and do anything is the issue. And then I still lose, and that's not fun. So
Lucas Tremel asks, Tom, do you still play Hydrolander? In this build, asks, Tom, do you still play Hydrolander? In this build, I'm not playing Hydrolander. This is just the first place YCS Lima build. I have considered the card, but it's a lot harder to get live turn 1 now. All of the monsters that go to your graveyard end up banished, and so you don't have the free 2 materials that went into your Nightmare Link 2, and then the Mermaid and the discard to just stack up those numbers nice and quickly.
Briefly check your graveyard.
Yeah, go ahead. Numbers nice and quickly.
Briefly check your graveyard.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I think I just probably take the Chainlink 2 Chronograph here. And I draw one. And now we basically have to hope that whatever I make here, which funnily enough will be probably just a Borreload, will actually be good enough. To like, hopefully he just can't find Orcust, because currently he doesn't have any Orcust. So we'll just Borreload, attack your Trisbana, and we'll hit you for 2/5.
Yep, that's fine.
And we'll hit you for 2/5.
Yep, that's fine.
And then we'll pass turn, and we can't do much else.
Gizmek.
Yep.
Drop turn.
Yep. Trisbana for my scales is really difficult.
Turn.
Yep. Trisbana for my scales is really difficult. I didn't see a way where I could still play into scales. So
let's see what's going on. Looks all right. Orchestrated return.
It's pretty good. Yep.
Orchestrated return.
It's pretty good. Yep.
So I made the play that I did last turn, knowing that I already had this and another Orcust in hand.
Yeah.
So I could set up to play whatever happened.
Which is to be expected, but
whatever happened.
Which is to be expected, but sometimes you just gotta take the risk.
Use the effect Frost.
Mhm.
Special summon out my Orcust Nightmare.
Yep.
Link 2 of these. Link 2 of these. Galatea.
Yes.
Effect of Galatea on Symbol Skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
Sec Crescendo. Sec Crescendo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I drew the World Wand, otherwise leaving the symbol banished would have been real nice.
Yeah.
Leaving the symbol banished would have been real nice.
Yeah.
Next up, we will Nightmare to send.
Mm-hmm.
Symbol.
Yes.
No, we've still got harp in deck. Let's go with the harp.
Yep. Harp.
Harp can summon the symbols.
Mm-hmm.
Gizmek.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so a lot of cards are gone here.
Yeah, that's not a problem though.
No.
We'll link these two. We'll link these two. Longisu.
And that's annoying.
Effect of the Longisu. Reset my deck a little bit here.
Yeah. Bye-bye Borreload.
Symbol for the Galatea, so that my Crescendo will be live next turn, because I just want to put another Dingisu out on top of Longisu. You took 1,000 life points. You took 1,000 life points. So if I activate, the Centigrade effect, I will still not quite have game. You've only got one card in hand. I know it doesn't do anything. Let's see. Yeah, we're still going to activate. Let's see. Yeah, we're still going to activate the Centigrade effect. The Centigrade effect, because you haven't interrupted me yet.
Okay.
Send this one. And then Twin Twisters, target the Ravine.
Okay.
And use 1 to summon some more damage. And use 1 to summon some more damage. Is it a Nibiru?
It is a Nibiru. The last card in my hand was Nibiru. So, I was waiting. It's kind of annoying that he had the twin because he got to discard the wand. That was the frustrating bit. I was kind of hoping because he got to discard the wand. That was the frustrating bit. I was kind of hoping that this would just be it. The token does go in defense. I don't know if it has less than. It will have more than 3k. A lot more than 3k.
6,050 defense. 6,050 defense.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna win. But it was fun to summon the Nibiru. Pendulum doesn't normally play well off one card. Let's put it that way. No monkey boards in this deck. I mean, it will be in defense.
Okay,
but
where would you like it?
There.
Okay, so it's got 6,050 defense. 3,000. Okay, so it's got 6,050 defense. 3,000.
This. Well, he's already summoned the Longisu, so it just doesn't matter where I put that.
10,550 attack.
Yep. Okay, good.
Go ahead.
Okay. That, okay. That, it's not really helpful. So I think I just lose, is the short answer. Is the short answer. I can technically search a servant
No,
to
you
chump
can't.
block. Oh, I can't even do that. Yeah, okay, sure. But I wanted to Nibiru. Yeah. Pendulum does not play well from one card. I was kind of hoping to keep my Ravine. Pendulum does not play well from one card. I was kind of hoping to keep my Ravine. I did not. I did not keep my Ravine. Right. Play.
Go it.
Play.
Go it. Yeah, Jemil Kellen asks about Hydrolander as well, suggesting maybe a going second deck with a lot of spells that summon monsters. So Shadow Fusion and Hornet Drones and Instant Fusion could all get you those monsters without risking duplicates. I think it's definitely an interesting suggestion. I'm not sure how it stacks up against the other going second options that we already have. But
Yeah.
it's something I could definitely consider.
Hydrolander is always going to be a good card.
I don't like Hydrolander.
I think actually, the more I think about it,
Hydrolander.
the more I think about it, the Orcust boards are reasonably fragile at the moment. I put together a Draco list last night, and I realized Amano Iwato is really broken into all of the boards because they don't generally end on crescendo. They generally end on just like Masquerena, maybe a Galatea, or another Orcust or a Danger or something to make the Masquerena alive. And that's kind of it.
So the only thing that
That's kind of it.
So the only thing that Orcust has going for it there is that most lists at the moment are main decking Infinite Impermanence.
Mm-hmm. Which 4 Sky Striker monsters and Link Crew Link Spider. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I want to be giving up that much of my extra deck in Orcust. It's a neat idea, and possibly if there's a deck that just doesn't need its extra deck, playing triple Hydrolander and triple Engage for a Hornet Drones could be a neat idea, but I don't think Orcust is the one. Certainly not in its current form.
No.
There's too much that you can do with 5 extra deck slots.
I mean, yeah, Orcust extra deck could play a lot more. It's a new game, so...
No, it's not. It's game 3. Carry on.
Oh, it's game 3. Oh well. Pendulum decides they're going first.
Yeah, no response.
So this is a good start, generally speaking.
Sebastian Salazar, what about Burning Abyss rock deck? As ever, people asking about Burning Abyss.
Do you mean you don't like Burning Abyss?
Not at the moment, no. I wish it was good. It's just not.
One counter.
I think that the rock Burning Abyss deck is the best build of, but it's not good enough. I don't see any reason to play it over a deck like Orcust. You have the grave payoff in the meta that's just so much better than everything Burning Abyss is doing right now. Also, whichever way you slice it, there's no way to build a Burning Abyss deck that doesn't just get hard ruined by Nibiru.
So I had a lot of frustration building rogue decks when I was building online because they all lose to Nibiru harder than the meta decks. I think Nibiru for that reason is really, really bad. I mean, for a lot of reasons, but for another, that's one of the main reasons. I think it's just really bad card design because it makes the game a lot less fun for people who just want to play it. Like,
do you think that the casual decks lose harder than the meta to Nibiru, or do you think decks that lose harder to Nibiru are casual decks?
no, I think it's the casual decks, the decks that otherwise still wouldn't be good. Are a lot of them just lose to Nibiru because they can do these cool combos and stuff, but they just lose to Nibiru. A lot of the casual decks do cool, powerful things sometimes, but yeah, then they get screwed over. So the annoying thing about this hand in particular is that my Electromite's really bad because I don't actually have a thing to plot with it. Which, you know, kind of sad. I don't have a good thing to plot with it anyway. We'll go ahead and activate the Countess and the Jackal. And we'll still make the Electromite, because you're not going to make the Electromite. And we'll activate its effect.
Yep. It's interesting. I've been seeing a lot of people going for the level 7, the Master, over Jackal, to try and play around infinite impermanence rather than playing around actual monster hand traps.
So I think there's an argument for that if I actually needed my Electromite to resolve. The reality is this hand doesn't really need my Electromite to resolve at all. So I don't think it matters as much with this particular hand. But I think, yeah, generally speaking, there is definitely a world where that is very important. I think the other thing is just whether you think that main deck.
Was this from hand?
Oh no, this one. Sorry, this way around. Yeah. This effect.
Denny asks, what do you think about Pendulum in this meta?
Don't know. It still does a lot of good things. My issue is that I think since the loss of Agapane, it struggles to go second a bit more.
Okay. I think Pendulum's actually a really good choice right now. I've been following quite closely Paul Cooper. He's just started doing a lot of stuff on YouTube. Obviously, he was real big a long time ago, had huge success with Empty Jar.
Empty Jar. I remember that list.
But he's
oh boy,
he's back and having
Dinosaur.
Really good success with Pendulum now. His lists are looking real fresh. Lots of spell cards, lots of spell counters. And he regularly posts updates on his channel. So that's like Coop Star cards, I think, coming out. But yeah, I think that Pendulum is definitely a real good deck right now, and that's the place that I'd look for getting a list to start it off, because yeah, he's been back-to-back topping like every regional he goes to, and these are big events in US.
Yeah. So, as I said, I think the Pendulum deck just generally, I need a level 7, but that wasn't in the list when we built it, so if this were any level 7, this hand would be so much better. It's just not, so we're dealing with what we have, unfortunately. But yeah, I think the play here is I get to pick between Appaloosa and no seal, or I can seal here, make a random link 2 and a random level 7, and I think that's actually better. So we're just going to seal extra monster zone, use these for random link 2 because we don't have any good ones. So we're gonna make lambda, and then we're gonna Destrudo. This gets banished. Yeah.
Is there any way that you could have done your zone placement different?
No, because the thing that summons from hand or some from extra deck has to go there, and harmonizing then takes up one of these 2 zones. If this is under here, then you have to use it for the thing, and if you put this here, it still takes up like either the harmonizing or the thing you summon with harmonizing takes up one of these 2
So
zones.
what were your monsters? Oh, you had 2 level 3s going in.
Yeah, you have 2
Yeah,
level
that
3s,
makes things a little more awkward.
Yeah, so we get a level 7, and this and seal, which isn't bad, but as I said, there was a flaw in the deck building here because we put it together very, very quickly. But yeah. Boss turn.
Okay. This doesn't look great for me, but we'll see. You've got monster negate, spell negate, and
Good point. I could not have summoned the Servant of Endymion because you can only special summon it once per turn, but the Time Gazer would have done the exact same thing.
Okay. So wait, was that your only?
No, I had Time Gazer.
No, but was Time Gazer your only level 3 post pendulum summon? Because if it was, then you could have used this for your
But then
link
you don't
3.
have a free zone here because you have to put the harmonizing or the thing it summons there because it comes from hand and the other one comes from deck. Pendulums always have this problem.
Okay. Activate Allure of Darkness.
I think that's fine. Like, I'm not scared of a lot of things. I can't even be super polyed for meaningful things. So, although I know Tom's playing super poly in theory, I know that. Thoughts on Salad? I actually think like Salad seems to be doing very well. It is a good.
Never put more than one monster on the
Yeah. Salad seems to be doing very well, but I don't understand why you'd play it over Orcust, generally speaking. Orcust plays very similarly to Salad these days, where it just tries to like set up 1 or 2 pieces of interaction and set up for its next turn. And Orcust plays around things like Nibiru and like other things, I think, a bit better than Salad, but especially since Salad has to find its 1 Gazelle now, and that's difficult in and of itself. I think it's a lot harder just to get going with Salad than it is with Orcust. But that said, it doesn't lose to things like Lancia, which is obviously very important. It can make Abyss Dweller, which is good against Orcust. So like, it has things going for it.
So I haven't looked at all into playing Salamangreat, but I think that it actually does what it does pretty nicely. It seems to be obviously much weaker to Nibiru than Orcust.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, at top level, Nibiru isn't hugely popular right now.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think Nibiru is very popular.
And I think that it's probably more resilient to the sort of more generic hand traps, the Ash Blossoms, the Impermanences, than Orcust.
I think that probably depends on the Orcust list.
Possibly, yes. But just having the resources of Will and Foul, I thought we might possibly change over.
Swirl, yeah.
Yeah. So having that level of resilience to a piece of interaction, I think there are fewer Salamangreat hands that will fold to the first hand trap than there are Orcust hands, which is definitely a big attraction.
Yeah. Like Orcust getting ashed or impermed on their normal summon can be a real issue. Especially in the list that dangers or anything, unless you have an orchestrated return and a Orcust in hand. That's it. That was your play, and it got stopped. Yeah. But I don't think that but I don't think that the lists